I am disgusted by this kind of behavior, and it needs to stop.
Don't make me angry.
Now. Hello, my friends. So much cruise news to deliver today as I bring you a by request cruise price comparison. After I posted news regarding Carnival's major overhaul of their loyalty program, so many of you asked me to compare similar cruises from each of the major cruise lines to see which was the cheapest, because everyone always assumes the cheapest is going to be Carnival. And that might be why this huge cruise company thinks they can do whatever they want.
I'm the boss.
So let's find out together if Carnival's pricing really comes out ahead of everyone else. And you'll see I'm comparing Alaska-bound cruises out of Seattle rather than cruises out of the Caribbean because I'm trying to keep them as similar as possible for this comparison. And there are so many more options down in the Caribbean that it's hard to find an itinerary for close to the same week for the same length of time, stopping at the same ports for all 5 of the major cruise lines. But it will be easier doing this for Alaska cruises because nearly all of them are 7 days long and they go to nearly the same cruise ports. And yes, I'm doing this when it's 98 degrees out, and I'm really enjoying the idea of an Alaska cruise right now.
It's hot!
As I'm doing this, please keep in mind that I'm not a travel agent. I'm completely unsponsored, and I pay for all my cruises the same as you do. So I'm not trying to sell you on any particular cruise or cruise line. And as you can also see, I'm faceless on all of my videos, so when you see me review something, you know I'm not getting any special treatment because none of the crew will recognize me. If you like videos like this, then please hit that subscribe button. I also welcome your comments and suggestions. I'll be comparing Royal Caribbean, Carnival, Norwegian, Princess, and MSC. I'm going to do 7 days out of Seattle because cruising out of Seattle, in my opinion, is so much easier than cruising out of Vancouver, at least for those of us in the US. And while I go through the tedium of setting up what I think will be the fairest comparison that I possibly can, let's cover these cruise news headlines that have me in equal parts disgusted and terrified. If you're just here for the total prices and to see who wins this competition, please feel free to race ahead to the end. And when it comes to these latest cruise news headlines, it kind of says everything about my level of disgust when I'm kicking things off not with news that the Island Princess had a fire, nor with the raid of 2 river cruises. But instead, I'm pulling out my mom voice and giving a very big shame on you at this story of a woman on a Carnival cruise who was participating in the ever-popular rubber duck game by hiding a rubber duck for someone else to find. As I'm sure you know, the purpose of this game is to simply bring a little smile to someone else's day. People, this is not the Hunger Games.
I volunteer as tribute!
This is just a lighthearted tradition. That's it. But apparently this particular woman became extremely upset when she saw a crew member see the duck that she had hidden, and when that crew member liked the duck and took it, this passenger became irate and demanded that the duck be returned. What the ever-loving duck? Lady, I don't know who you are, but you and I would not be friends. The crew work so hard and are living for long periods of time, usually thousands of miles from their family and friends. If your cheap little duck actually brought a crew member a tiny shred of joy on a cruise, where they're earning barely anything to clean your toilet, cook your food, and answer all your petty demands, then for the love of all that is good, let them keep that duck if it makes them smile. Okay. And now I'm taking my mom hat off and getting back to the headlines to report that the Island Princess had a fire. And yes, it was on the same cruise out of New York, headed to Greenland, that my husband and I nearly booked.
That was too close.
The fire only lasted an hour, but passengers were awakened at 6 a.m. and had to put on their life jackets and head to their muster stations. And seeing as I just watched Trainwreck Poop Cruise on Netflix, and those images of what a fire caused on that ill-fated Carnival ship are still fresh in my mind, I'm just feeling really lucky that I wasn't on board that Princess ship, because even though the problem ended after just about an hour, it's an hour I just didn't need to experience, I'm sure. Also in the headlines, there's been a raid by U.S. Customs on 2 river cruises that were leaving out of Detroit. 13 crew members were detained. At the time of this recording, there are only rumors about why they were detained. Feel free to post in the comments below any updates you've heard. Meanwhile, in Royal Caribbean news, 134 passengers and 7 crew members became ill on board the Navigator of the Seas sailing out of Los Angeles, reporting gastrointestinal issues. But even though the news is pouncing on this, considering that there were 3,914 passengers on board, that's just about 3%. So keep that in mind before you panic and cancel your cruise, because when I compare that to what public schools report in absences daily, that kind of puts a different perspective on it. So with all this bad news, I feel like I should end with a couple of good news stories. Margaritaville at Sea bought another old Costa ship and has renamed it the Beachcomber. We don't know too much yet about what's ahead for the Beachcomber, and I know a lot of you feel very strongly about Margaritaville at Sea. But I have a soft spot in my heart for them as a military wife because they offer free cruises to military veterans, and I always love companies who value our service members, not just in times of war, but also in times of peace. And with all the bad news we're hearing from the cruise lines these days, I kind of feel like Margaritaville at Sea is the little engine that could, and I'm totally rooting for them. Also good news about the announcement of the new MSC summer deployment of their ships for 2027. 2027? I'm barely even thinking about 2026 yet, but that's the way the cruise industry goes. They'll be sailing out of 4 U.S. home ports: Miami, Port Canaveral, Galveston, and Seattle. And that seems like the right story to end this cruise comparison on because, as you can see, it's MSC that won this cruise comparison. Princess and NCL almost exactly tied for the most expensive cruise, with Princess only being a few dollars more expensive than NCL. Princess's total was $4,900 and NCL's was $4,877.70. And it's very important to point out that I chose NCL's option that does not include alcohol, just to keep it as close a comparison as possible to the others. Next most expensive, and no surprise here, is Royal Caribbean, coming in at $4,127.10. Then Carnival with $3,378. And then MSC is definitely our winner for the least expensive cruise in this comparison, with just $2,758 for their total. It is important to stress that those 2 cheaper options are on ships that are about 10 years older than the others, but they were the closest comparison I could make. But an older ship will usually be a lot cheaper than a newer ship, so always keep that in mind. So that's it, your by request cruise comparison, and it really does make me think a lot more about MSC as a possible option for all of you to consider if you are among the Carnival cruisers who are so mad about the major changes to their loyalty program, among other issues Carnival has been having. MSC could really lure a lot of folks away from Carnival right now, and it will be interesting to see what happens. Get your popcorn. And remember, I am unsponsored and I am not a travel agent, and I pay for all my cruises the same as you do, so I'm not trying to sell you on any particular cruise or cruise line. If you like videos like this, then please hit that subscribe button. I also welcome your comments and suggestions below because, as you saw in this video, which was by request, I really do read all of your comments and am grateful for the helpful suggestions. As always, thank you so much for watching, for subscribing, for commenting, and for making this channel such a wonderful, supportive community. I'm so grateful for you.